fight. Fucking fight.
Leave station.
We fight to death.
Station. Leave.
We fight to death, you motherfucker. We fucking fight. We fucking fight. Fuck you. Fuck off, man.
You're not gonna get anything from fighting. Please, for God's sake.
Fuck off, man. Fuck off. We fight, man. We fight. We fucking fight. To death. To death. To death, you motherfucker. Fuck off, man. Fuck off.
Eastbound, Blair. Direction Est, Blair. Next station, Burton. Prochaine station, Burton.
Find me.
I'm complimenting you, actually. It just said noise all points for originality.
You can fuck off, man.
That's what it is.
We fight to death.
That's what they're doing. They're trying to associate me with these. This is street data. It's all skid. It's just a skid. But they use drug addicts and they try to associate me with the drug addicts. That's what they're doing.
Fuck you.
They've been told to set it up right there. It's all staged.
What does it take for you to feel like you fucking won? What does it take for you to feel like you fucking won?
Constable.
Burton Station. Station, Burton.
Right, I'm there.
And now notice when people are looking back here, right, where I'm in position, it's all to try and associate me with this. That's what's going on. Okay. Now watch, they're going to get out here too. Are they? Yeah, it's all to associate me with these people. That's why they're doing it. Street theater. They're told to do it right next to where I was sitting too. I noticed them right away when they got on. It's all an act. They'll stop now as the train moves. It's also an excuse to have the constables just come on and deal with another fake skit. But they're drug addicts, the people. But they were told to do that. It's just a fake argument. And so it's done for a number of reasons. First, they want to associate me with these drug addicts to discredit me because they know I've exposed, the police and these other psychopaths. So they do it that way to try to associate you with drug addicts to discredit you. And then they'll have people taking pictures and recording you near those drug addicts to make it seem like, you know them or whatever. And then another thing, oh yeah, they got the car over there tonight. Another thing is they set these things up so that the constables will have some, so it'll make them look like they're doing actual work. But they have to manufacture all these lies and things like this to try and justify the fact that they're having all these people watch you. So to do that, they want to try to associate you with the drug addicts who they control. Notice going right over here. Notice how he's coming right over here, okay? No one else here, he walks right over to where I am. You can see that. No one else in the area, and he just walks right over. But yeah, so what they want to do is to discredit, the evidence I have of all this harassment. They want to try and associate people who the subjects of their harassment with drug addicts to discredit them. because they control these drug addicts, and obviously I think they provide them with free drugs for doing these things too in some cases. So, because obviously the police and these CSIS control the drug supply, and so that's how it's done. Veterans Week, yeah. You really take good care of the families of veterans by terrorizing them. You really think they care about veterans or the families of veterans? Look what they do to the families of veterans in this country, okay? They terrorize them and destroy their lives, and then they put up this front that they actually care about. They only care about these people so much as they can use them. That's all. If you're not willing to do exactly what you're told, or if you go against their system in any way, they'll terrorize you and harass you and tear you down. And let's see here. So you can't question doing any of these psychotic things that they want you to do if you're in the military, because if you do, then you're not part of the whole system, and there's no individuality in the military at all. They have to remove that from you after they bring you in there, right? After you join the military, they have to break you down and rebuild you, and remove any sense of individuality. And now that's what they're trying to do with the entire population, and it's been quite effective from what we can see. What's AI going to do, right? That's going to completely remove any individuality, and human creativity will be completely stripped away. You're not going to be able to anything, not just like creating content, creating anything. Music is going to be done through AI. Any form of original human creativity will be destroyed, and yet people are okay with that. It's unbelievable, right? Like, you would think that you'd have huge protests against it. And if there was any, reality and truth to these protests that we have now, which are not legitimate, they're just all fake staged protests. But if they were, you'd have those same people adamantly protesting against AI. First of all, they can't even clearly tell you what AI is, which is in and of itself, an extreme warning sign right there. And then they also say, they come right out and tell you, well, there's all these potential harmful things that can come from it, and it's going to put 90% of the population out of work. Oh, okay, well, let's go ahead with that then. It sounds great. Wouldn't you stop that? If you're saying that yourself, wouldn't you just stop it and not go ahead with it? I mean, think about that. So there's something powerful behind all of this stuff driving this, because if you knew that there could be dire repercussions like that, you just stop it. You wouldn't go ahead with it. Like all this other stuff. Oh, we have to go ahead with it because it'll make everything convenient. It'll make everything convenient while it puts 90% of the population out of work. That's absolutely ridiculous. And if you weren't insane yourself, like insane, you'd work to stop that, right? It's just, but no. Instead, you have people promoting it, saying what a wonderful thing it is. Of course, there are going to be good things that they're going to, tell you it's going to bring about a lot of convenience. Yes, of course. But the bad outweighs the good so substantially that the only, like why would you not be against that? But there's a force behind this where they know it has to go through, right? So no matter what happens, if it puts 90% of the population out of work, that's going to, push the whole order out of chaos system. Everyone then has to become completely reliant on our puppet government, which is not really it's just a front and for these criminals and these families that control things, and then they take over everything, right? These families, these elite families, they gain control of everything. They determine whether you can eat, whether you can, where you can live, whether you can even have a roof over your head, okay? But let's go ahead with AI because it sounds wonderful. And this Satanist Elon Musk, my goodness, like, how can anyone look at these people who they trot out and and think that just because they say a few good things, like, oh, he's for free speech, that they're anything other than just devious, deceitful criminals, okay? I mean, yeah, let's go ahead with AI. It sounds like it's going to put 90% of the population out of work. What could go wrong? Let's go ahead with that. It sounds great. But on the flip side, it'll help you, you know, do things faster. Oh, wonderful. Let's go ahead with it then. It's just stupid. Absolutely stupid. But this is what we're living in now. And we'll see across up here. The bus coming out. Let's walk down here. And cross over the field there. Yeah, we got our first significant snowfall last night. Yesterday and last night. So, yeah, I mean, it's just really disturbing. And like it's like the minds of these people are just gone. They're gone, man. Like I don't know how much of that is attributable to the vaccine. You can't say for sure. But you have people behaving in really, really strange ways, to say the least now. Okay? And anyway, it is what it is, you know. All you can do is if you have faith, and you know, if you do have religious faith, you can pray and hope that things are going to get bad no matter what, right? But you know, prayer can help you, guide you through these difficult situations, and it does for me, definitely. So, and but it's a time of mass deception, a time of unprecedented deception, and they're going to use deception to continue to push all this tyranny. So it's just going to be, they're going to stage events over and over again until it comes to the point where all freedoms are relinquished and they've already degraded and debased everything to bring people low, to demoralize the population. And this is it's a military operation to do that. Notice this guy here. Put this on just for a second here. Take a look at this, right? This is parked in front of my workplace here. Surveillance role players here. Not moving, right? Let's see. Is this Amazon? I don't think it's Amazon. Yeah, no, they just pulled up just to do that, as you can see. Pulled over there just to stop in front of my workplace, then pull off. You can see the time. This here, right in front of me. I'm gonna cross to the bus stop there. So you saw what the police just did right there, right? They were told to drive up just in front of me right as I was about to cross. So that's the bus stop where I'm going to there. They drive up in front of me, turn on the lights, and do a U-turn and go back the other way. That's the Gatineau police. Over 3 years of criminal harassment and stalking, and they're told just to drive up and do that, as you can see. Sent by CSIS to harass me as I go to work, and now they're off to get their cut of the drug money. It's the Mason Brotherhood of Gatineau Police there, an organization of violent, criminal, mentally unstable psychopaths See, that's where I was going to go, right there. So they did the U-turn right in front of where I was going to go. Criminals who do no legitimate work and who terrorize citizens and sent to harass and intimidate me tonight as I leave for my job. So there you go tonight. And that you could see as purposeful, intentional intimidation. Nothing other than that. They drive directly in front of me at the exact moment I'm about to cross to the bus stop. Turn on the lights and go back and do a U-turn right in front. I mean, could it be more obvious than that? So there we go tonight. And the Gatineau police facilitate the trafficking of drugs as well. They have protected drug dealers who they allow to operate, and officers get their cut of the drug money too for doing that. So they don't like me talking about those things, so I'm going to talk about them as much as possible. So there you go. Totally childish too, as you can see, that type of thing. You're supposed to be an officer of the law, and you just drive up in front of me, flash your lights, do a U-turn right in front of me, and go back the way you came. 10-year-old children have more integrity than people who would do something like that. But the people who they enlist are all deranged, psychotic criminals, so you'd expect nothing more than that. You'd expect nothing better than that, so. And that's CSIS and drug trafficking criminal Dan Rogers telling them to do that. He doesn't have the balls or the integrity to get out and do anything himself. He sits under lock and key behind closed doors while he orders his rubes to go around doing his work for him on behalf of the crown. So, and got the usual stuff tonight, so. Now you can see they just made the appearance to do that. They're now nowhere in sight, so they've gone back down the other way there. So, not much traffic actually here tonight. It's quieter than one would expect. Aside from that, where did I put that? Oh, okay. Let's make sure I got all my stuff in here. Yeah, junkie from the motel there going in on cue. They put up a bunch of people in that motel to do assignments too. Either CSIS or the RCMP is putting them up in there. Probably giving them their drugs as well for participating in it, since, you know, they facilitate the drug supply throughout the country. They facilitate the movement of the drug supply, ensuring that the criminals who are involved in it can move it around as they see fit. So you saw it, as you saw last night too. They have a bunch of their drug addicts there on the train doing a street theater skit to attempt to discredit. So they probably had somebody filming it to try and make it look like I was with them, or that it was me doing it, one of the two. And then they had one of them shouting threats at the other one. And then as soon as I moved away, it was weird. The one guy was pretending to restrain the one guy. He might have been a handler, the guy on the left. And then as soon as I moved away, then he just lets the other guy walk over toward the other guy. And first the other guy's all like saying, you know, he's going to do, you know, threatening him and all. And then when he goes over, he just doesn't do it. Just a few shouts and a few FUs, and, you know, it's just a staged skit. So they set that up last night when I was on the train. And that's what they do. They'll try to associate you with these drug addicts who they control so as to discredit you and discredit the evidence you have of their years of harassment, right? So I have evidence of years of harassment. There's the police again, looks like pulling out. Is that right? Let's see. Of these people here, these police here, and then the ones in Ontario as well. So because of that, you know, they have no way of refuting that or anything. So what they'll do is they'll try to, because everything they do is deceit. They can't do anything with honesty or integrity. So they have to try and concoct a false narrative that that's the police again here. So you see they waited for the bus. Right there, waited for the bus. First they drove up in front of me, did a U-turn. Then they wait for my bus to come and drive up in front of the bus. So, as you can see there. But that's what they do, so because they can't do anything. Everything has to be deceit and slander and inversion. So. RCMP over there.
When I am at work, CSIS and the RCMP send agents to continually encircle the area around my workplace all throughout the night. They also send police cars and ambulances to blare their sirens directly in front of my workplace, then immediately turn them off after passing by. They also send cars with engines that have been tampered with so that they make extreme noise to surround the area as part of the constant noise harassment campaign. You will have seen in the previous footage presented in this video how they sent a car to pull up and just stop directly in front of my workplace just after 3 a.m. with no one getting in or getting out. Here you will see how they send cars to drive up directly across from my workplace, then immediately do U-turns, turning around and going back in the opposite direction from which they originally came. This is specifically done so that the subject of the harassment will know that they are sending these people to do this. In these clips you will see how 3 cars were all sent to do this within 11 minutes, shortly after I arrived at work on November 14, 2025.
And something that's just come to my attention, it's interesting to note that as of today, November 13th, 2025, I just noticed that CSIS Director Dan Rogers has all of a sudden, for the first time, made a public appearance and come out and started talking to some of the state-funded propaganda media organizations throughout Canada. So if you think the timing on that is just random and coincidental, interesting timing considering what I put out, talking about his crimes and the things that he and his organization have been involved in, and the lies and deceit that they constantly use to cover these things up while using these state-funded propaganda networks to do so. If you think that's just random, the timing, it's pretty obvious that that is all a result of the video that I recently put out. Considering the fact that he ordinarily keeps himself in the shadows, and these people involved in the intelligence agencies don't usually come out and do a lot of public appearances or a lot of press meetings. But all of a sudden, less than a week after I speak about the things that his organization have been involved in and that he's been orchestrating, Daniel Rogers suddenly makes all these public appearances, well, a bunch of public appearances to do damage control on all of these state-run propaganda networks. You will also have probably noticed that in the past, just days after I would talk about speak the truth about how the police and the RCMP and CSIS are involved in facilitating the distribution of hard narcotics throughout Canada, all of a sudden a bunch of staged fake stories involving supposed police drug busts start popping up right away with perfect timing on the controlled propaganda networks. So I just thought that was very interesting, the timing that Dan Rogers all of a sudden comes out and makes his first major public appearance and starts trying to... They've set up a whole public image thing to try to present him as being someone who's just doing these things to help the public. And I watched some of it, and it was all just the usual generic, ridiculous lies that they tell these psychopath Freemasons to repeat when they're in the public eye and when there's any public scrutiny. So I may do a video at some point soon commenting on it, going through some of the footage, commenting on it, pointing out his obvious lies and the deceit that's been involved in that. But I just thought the timing was very interesting. So again, if you think that's a coincidence, you can also look at all these other incidents where just days after I put out videos speaking the truth about how the police facilitate drug trafficking throughout Canada, all of a sudden a bunch of, these state-funded propaganda networks such as CBC and CTV News all come out with these exact same identical stories claiming that the police supposedly busted a bunch of drug dealers and things like this. And all of it obviously just staged to do damage control. So again, Dan Rogers being trotted out onto the world stage to do damage control so that he can try and deceive some of the public into thinking that these crimes that he and his organization are committing are being done in the public interest. And I may go through some of that footage and just do some brief commentary on it, pointing out the obvious ridiculous lies that he's promulgating, and that the state-funded propaganda networks such as the CBC are promulgating. Also, you can, after watching that interview, you can also tell that any of the questions the reporters asked him, it's pretty obvious that he was told in advance what the questions were going to be. There's no real hardball questions there. They just ask him the basic generic questions about China and things that have absolutely no relevance, other than the fabricated stories that they've put out over and over again, talking about trying to portray China as this villain. So, yeah, it's interesting the timing of that, and if you look, you'll see all of a sudden Daniel Rogers is trotted out onto the world stage to do damage control less than a week after I talk about his crimes and the crimes of his organization and the crimes of the Canadian police in that video. If there wasn't truth to that, they wouldn't trot him out there to do damage control as they have been doing.